Good evening, beautiful people. It is the time of the week where we gather around the fire and enjoy the South African jazz mostly, and any kind of jazz that is beautiful. But we are so biased, we're so loyal to the sounds that we produce, and I believe that we really produce one of the most amazing sounds here in South Africa. Um, I'm talking about South African jazz. So, welcome to Jazz Outside the Box. This is your space for sonic engagements. You're listening to Zuko Yigi. I'm broadcasting live from East London studios. I did promise you that this evening we're going to be joined by an amazing guest, and he is here. And I see he's just doing some final touches, face bit. Yeah, he's there. Let's introduce him with a beautiful song. And I see you, Kat. They don't see you. I like that they don't see you. I see you. Um, we're gonna hit it hard. Gonna hit it hard soon. Let's play this. That is Jimmy Lulu giving us Basil Goes to Church. Okay, we seem to be having some technical glitches over here, but we're going to get it right. Good evening once more, and Kat is here with us. Um, Good evening, man.
Hey, what's up?
I'm good, man. You're good. How's it going in Gabs?
Sure, it's going okay. It's the weather's been nice. It's been hot, so that's cool. It's December, feels like December. So yeah.
Yeah, it's always windy every time I'm there.
No, you're telling lies. It's not that bad.
Okay, okay. Well, you have to be loyal. It's your hometown after all.
Look, yeah, people call it the Windy City, and I get it, but
Okay,
I'm just saying Cape Town's windier. I can think
I
of a
see.
bunch of places that are worse, but yeah.
Okay. Um, we've been waiting for this day, and it's exciting, man, to have you here. And welcome to Jazz Outside the Box. And this is the space for music and dialogues. And we're so happy to have you. And I'm sure people at home or wherever they're listening, they are equally excited. Welcome once more.
Thanks.
Yeah, man. So there's been some beautiful stuff you've been doing. I've been following you. Um, the interesting project that you played recently, the One Room, but
Mm,
we're gonna talk about that later. But how would you introduce Kat to the people that do not know you?
um, okay, I'm an artist. Number one, whatever that means to the people listening. That's what I am, an artist. And then number two, I would consider myself um, a facilitator. So that means, you know, finding spaces for people to do the sorts of things that they want to do and that I would like them to do,
Okay.
giving platforms. Yeah.
Okay. And some people have been telling me that you are spending some time in East London of late. I don't know whether you've been coming in here to do whatever you needed to do and then leave for grabs. But yeah, I've been told that there's some contributions you do locally. I don't know. Only you can
Uh,
liberate.
yeah. You know what? I was in East London a few weeks back playing with Dumza Maswana, right? I'm sure
Uh-huh.
you know Dumza, right?
Yeah.
Um, Part of he's got this new thing with his act that he has now where he's got like an orchestral sort of vibe, and I'm a
Wow.
part of that, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great gig, and we performed at it's the Guild Theatre, right?
Yeah, it is the guild.
Yeah, so we performed there a few weeks back. That was cool. And we actually performing. I'm playing with Doomza again on Saturday, but here in PE.
I
So
see.
Doomza's keeping me busy as well, which is nice.
Okay. No, man, that's interesting. So, if you were to take us back to the time where this whole thing started, where would you place it? How do you locate this whole growth thing, the interest, and the whole development that sprang after you followed through
In terms of music,
in terms of music?
yeah. So I started playing trumpet when I was in primary school, and at the time I didn't. It was just like another thing I did. I played trumpet. I played sports. I was in a class. I watched TV. Blah blah blah. Did a bunch of stuff. And then when I
Mhm.
got to high school, I realized, okay, well, high school was a bit of a culture shock for me. And so I think on some level, oh, well, yeah, let's say high school was a bit of a culture shock. And then I was pretty good at playing the trumpet. So that sort of
Okay.
became my thing, right? I was like, I held on to that, gave me a sense of identity, etc. And then, yeah, and then I started practicing, did more of the classical vibe. And then towards the end of high school and first year university, I was looking for something different, and that was obviously jazz, which makes sense. You know, classical to jazz is a pretty not easy transition, but it makes sense to sort of move in that direction. And yeah, and it's been that ever since, except instead of just like playing jazz, sort of trying to figure out what my own vibe is in that context. Yeah.
Yeah. And fast forward so many years later, and you still at it, and you've been producing some music. And one of the most interesting things, or tracks, Dosini.
Mm.
And I suppose that we both have, you know, spent some time with this cat. Mind
Mm.
telling us more about the track? We're gonna talk about the milk and which I
Yeah, yeah,
find
yeah.
very interesting. Which I
It's,
find very interesting.
yeah. So I mean, so like I said, when you asked me to sort of explain or describe myself, I said I'm an artist. Sorry, I've got my dog here. He's a big dog, and he's like, so if you hear click, 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 it's his feet on the wooden floors. I'm sorry about that. But
Cool,
as I
cool.
said earlier, I said, number one, I'm an artist. Okay. I want to express myself. I want to make the things that I want to make. And then number
Yeah,
two, I'm a facilitator, and I try my best to provide spaces and opportunities for people to do the things that they want to do. Dorsini, for me, falls into the art category where I've just been trying to find my vibe and my sound and figure out the music that I want to make. And Dorsini is only like what 12 minutes long, but it took me
mm,
2 years. It took me 2 years to record. There's a part two which we're like finishing up at the moment, but that's unimportant right now. Um, it took me 2 years to record it, and it was sort of my way of trying to express what I've been through, where I've been,
yeah,
what I've encountered, not just in terms of like people in South Africa and politics and stuff, but culture and art and music. So it's like very referential, you know. It's like I had this sort of approach where I would go through something, I'd write a sketch, and then I'd look back on that sketch and go, when I was going through that, who was around me, where was I? And then I would look for music that
I see.
comes from those people or comes from that area, and then sort of incorporate that over the sketch. So you end up with this like very layered and textured product, piece of art, whatever you want to call it. Um, yeah, it was it's a pretty difficult process to describe to people, but it's cool, and it helps me express what I'm trying to say.
I see. So in a way, Doseni is more reflective of where you've been,
Yeah, yeah,
the spaces, the development, the culture, and it basically um, is filled with all those nuances.
yeah. So like for example, let's say I not that was in East London at the time or whatever, but let's say I went to East London
Yeah,
and I had a good time and I write a piece of music about it or like a sketch.
yeah,
Um, then what I would do is I'd go, hey, who was I chilling with in East London? And I go, oh, so and
mm,
so and so and so, and they these sorts of people, and they like this sort of music. So I'll try and bring that in, and then I'd look at
I see.
culture and geography, and then look further, like deeper into the actual place, East London, right? The
Mm,
geography. Where is it
yeah,
situated in South Africa? What sort of music and culture is associated with that? And then so that it's not just my story, what I think, but it's like what was happening around me at the time,
I
right?
see.
I'm trying to be objective, not just like say the things I want to say, but have what
Mm,
I want to say, but have context, as much context as possible.
I see. I see. Okay. Thanks very much, man. And then there's the milk concept,
Full cream milk.
fulcrum
Yeah,
milk, fulcrum milk.
yeah.
So, what's the whole concept about, and how was the concept birthed?
So yeah, so I was back in PE. This and then again, this goes more onto the facilitator side of things, where
Okay,
I'm back in PE. I've been in Durban for a few years. Durban was great. It was a vibe. I worked with a lot of people, a lot of creative people doing their
I
thing.
see.
And then I got back to PE, and a lot of gigging musicians. People are gigging, they're making some money, but I felt that the creative side of the industry, especially on the jazz side of things, wasn't where it could be.
Okay.
And so I just started off by like getting a bunch of my favorite musicians together from PE and just doing a gig for the sake of doing a gig. And it was meant to be something fun, not too demanding. And then what happened was a couple guys said, "Hey, I've actually got an original composition," and I said, "Cool, we'll put it in the gig." And another person said, "Yeah, I've got another original composition." And I was like, "Cool, put it in the gig." And then it became this like ensemble where people can bring their original compositions, write it out, orchestrate it for the ensemble, and then we get to perform it. And at the next gig, you can do those compositions again, or you can write new ones. And over time, we sort of pick the best compositions or the ones that at least work together the best to make like a set. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Let's play a song, and then we're gonna talk more about some interesting stuff, particularly the concert that you're presenting tomorrow. Let's play this. Let's see, who do we have here? Okay. Good evening once more. You're still listening to Jazz Outside the Box, your space for sonic engagements, and you're listening to Zuko Yigi, broadcasting live from East London studios. I am in conversation with the amazing Kat Ricks, a beautiful trumpeter and facilitator of music, particularly South African jazz, or should I just say jazz. He's here with us, having a beautiful conversation. He's taking us through the beautiful journey he's had and where he's at right now. Welcome if you've just joined in. And I'm just coming from another venture in town, a beautiful sport that just opened. I left Vuyom Jindi playing there. I get fascinated when I hear that there's a space that is opening and they are open to live music and particularly jazz music. I'll always advocate for jazz music because I believe that, and I know that most of these things, genres rather, are the offshoots of this from this beautiful genre. So it must be protected and it needs to be developed and supported. Now it is interesting to find out that Cat is also engaged in kind of in such works. It's beautiful. It is always encouraging. Tomorrow, Kat, you are here in East London. Not for the first time, but I suppose you're here to present this kind of work for the first time. Can you please take us through?
Yeah, so tomorrow is more than anything going to be a bit of a collaboration between the rhythm section that you guys have going on there and me on trumpet and Karabo Motlang on saxophone. We'll play some original music, obviously, some tunes by me, some tunes by Karabo, a couple tunes by people that I just know and I like their music. So yeah.
Mm. No, man, interesting. People are waiting for you, and
Okay.
they're excited. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. People, they have great energies, and
Nice.
after that, we're gonna hang and jam, and it's gonna be a beautiful night. I suppose that's how we would want to show our love to you, and we really appreciate you guys coming this side to share love with us. And I'm not saying this because I feel indebted or anything. We've been planning. We're still planning to make a turn that side. We were there
Mm.
first quarter, and we brought which was being led by Putandile Yenana, and we were there. It was quite an interesting chapter. So we are planning to add more chapters to that as a way to collapse the distance between the two metros.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, people are waiting, and I know the music is going to be great. Anything you want to say to them?
Well, I think I'll piggyback off what you said, which was sort of collapsing the distance between the metros. There's talent here in PE and there's talent in East London, and yeah, it's about time that we start collaborating more. You know, East London's not the biggest place in the country, and neither is PE. But I think
Yeah,
together we can do some like awesome things. You know.
yeah. I mean, it's creative cities by the ocean,
Yeah.
and it's two of those, and they've got sufficient infrastructure to enable the envisaged kind of jazz facilitation or development. And it is interesting, and I see what's happening. I'm following what's happening in Gqeberha. To me, it really gives me great joy to see that in a week you probably have three venues that are playing jazz, and
Yeah.
which is what's been happening in Cape Town and Joburg and Durban. So
Yeah.
it's really it's about time. And what is it perhaps that you could say is missing and needs to be enhanced more beyond collaborations between the two metros?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, what in terms of like infrastructure or?
Yeah, in terms of anything, maybe it could be infrastructure, or it could be anything that perhaps needs to be looked into critically as to foster and enhance the stimulation that we just
Okay.
deliberating on.
Yeah. So my big, so like, again, this comes back to what I said at the beginning. I'm an artist first and a facilitator. And so when I facilitate, my goal is to put the artist front and center. And
Yeah,
so what I try and do is I try and encourage people to do their own thing. Like, yeah, I mean, as a musician, you're going to work, you're going to get gigs, you're going to get corporate
yeah,
whatever's, you're going to be booked by whoever to play whatever
yeah,
music. But don't never forget that you started doing this because you have music that you want to make and express and things that you want to say.
yeah,
And I think
yeah,
it's just about encouraging people to not give up. And then I think something more solid that we could look at is also getting people to record their stuff. I think once
yeah,
you've recorded something, it just makes everything you're doing more concrete. You're like, okay, I've
I
actually
see.
made this thing. It exists. Now I
Yeah,
can start now there's music that goes with who I am, my artist identity and stuff, and you can, I don't know, apply for festivals and those sorts of things. Yeah.
interesting. I keep saying it's so. Hotep Galeta talks about, or writes about rather, the development of South African jazz history, which took on a distinct form that is nuanced with the sensibilities of the people. And he locates this kind of history in Queenstown, Ekomani. And now, 100 years later, we're starting to see another development or another movement, which is for grounded by young people, and it is reflective of their youth. Now, what you just said about the need to sort of document or record this music more plays into that idea as a way or as a mirror of the times, because maybe we may end up having a situation where the times are recorded, the events were recorded, but there's no account in terms of the sound. So we cannot say that this is the sound of the 2020s in Gqeberha and East London if people are not recording the music. Thanks for that. And I know that I know there's a lot of musicians between the two metros who've written like crazy, crazy stuff,
Yeah.
and they've not recorded, maybe because of whatever reasons, they may be having. And you just touch on it that, well, it's just about getting it out there, because there are economies and currencies you you can only leverage once that record is there.
Yeah.
So I was watching a podcast recently before I let you go. I'm about to release you now. And then in this podcast, they say something. So there's a term apparently that's been coined. So if you're able to see or project something, let's say 4 years from now, right? They say that you are sangomatic.
Okay, that's interesting.
so
Emblematic.
so yeah,
Okay.
sangomatic from sangoma. And then
Yeah,
if you're
no,
able
yeah.
to, yeah. So I just wanna know from you, like looking at all this development, all these collaborative efforts and the rise of music. You see Dumza and with his big band, and you see the rise of many festivals. I've seen Qabega's calendar for 2022. So I saw Qabega's calendar for 2022, and I suppose that 2023's calendar looks more interesting in terms of these creative outputs like festivals and concerts there and there, and the activation, Monday Bay Complex Theatre, and
Yeah.
the One Room, and many other venues. So it's the same in East London, where you can say that there are many creative ventures. To you, what does this all translate to when you look into the future? What do you see in the future? What are the possibilities?
Um, I'm going to sort of not answer that question and say rather we take this one step at a time.
Uh-huh.
That's over the last couple of years, that's how I've managed to slowly put things together, is not get ahead of myself, do the next thing and do it properly and then move on. It's like do the next gig, get in touch with the next person. What it becomes is what it becomes, and we all hope that it becomes something amazing. Obviously, lots of festivals, lots of working musicians, lots of recorded
Mhm.
music, but we need to put the work in today and
Yeah.
tomorrow. And
Yeah. No, man, thank you so much. You've had it's Cat Ricks, and he's playing tomorrow at Jazz and Pizza Thursdays, number 42 Stewart Drive, Baseville. He's going to be joined by Zamokuhle Matlong on alto sax and Vuyom Jindi on piano, Jeff Lottering on drums, and Zuko Yigi on upright bass. It's going to be a beautiful set, and there's jam session after that, and many musicians are coming through to witness this, and many local people, patrons, will be there. They've been voicing their interest, and we're so looking forward. Kat, we wish you all the best, safe travels in the morning, and
yeah,
we're gonna see you, man. It's gonna be beautiful, it's gonna be lovely. And to those who've never been to Jazz and Pizza Thursdays, you are missing out. And at least the year now is at the tail, so you cannot afford to miss this beautiful one. We have a beautiful guest, beautiful trumpeter, great facilitator. Thanks so much for your time, Kat. See you soon, see you tomorrow.
yeah,
I
thanks.
can't wait. And yeah, great night. And but to you, regulars, let's keep listening to the music. Kat, thank you so much. Let me release you, brother.
Cool, thanks for having me. Cheers.
Cool, man. Cool, man. Cool, man. Great night. Now let's play the music. Okay, let's do this. This is Makoy Mkhubata playing Entlombeni. I hope you enjoy.